the stream. I'm having a small problem where OBS just doesn't want to capture Photoshop. Like, it's just refusing. I've opened and closed OBS and opened and closed Photoshop, and I have tried opening different game captures and display captures to make it work, and it just doesn't want to capture Photoshop. So, that's fun. That's the only program I have to draw on, so that's great. And I don't want to do Hollow Knight today because Hollow Knight is slowly killing me. Can't you just work? For the love of God, dude. This is unbelievable. Guess I could just delete the original game capture and see if making another one will make it work. If nothing can make it work, I might just have to... Now OBS is just breaking? Like, it's just not working anymore? Okay. Yeah, it's just not working anymore. So that's fun. Alright, set it to the thing again. Still isn't doing anything. I'm gonna open my stream on a browser and see if that'll show anything. That's not what I asked for. Come on. Yep, it's just black. For fuck's sake. Also, weirdly, I think the aspect ratio for the stream isn't as wide as it should be, but this is the automatic setting for OBS, so I don't know why that would be. There's a little red dot in the corner, but I don't know what that means, and I can't, like, move it or anything. What the fuck is going on? I would like to be able to draw. I think that would be really neat if I could draw. Sure. Capture method automatic. But you need to be on that display. It's not working. Oh, that made it work for some reason. Oof. Good lord. Okay. So this is how wide I need to make it for you to be able to see what I'm doing for some reason. Okay. If you would please. Come on, come on. Okay, we're just gonna shove up the overlay a bit. Because apparently, OBS just doesn't like working. Okay, there we go. That made it work for some reason. I honestly don't know why. We're gonna be drawing today, and I usually listen to music or do literally anything else while I'm drawing. So that's fun. Right now I have some trail mix. I have been asked by someone to do a drawing stream, so I hope he fucking shows up. I'm gonna tell him. I need to change the category. There's like an art tag, right? And OBS's other things don't work either, so that's fun. I'm also partially streaming because I want to have enough time to... There's a yellow outline on the monitor it's capturing? That's interesting. I won't have enough time to begin to learn how to use Blender at the end of the day because I think learning how to use Blender when you do art is useful, obviously. I'm not sure what to draw right now, though. I'm gonna have to check through all my stuff. Should probably do some warm-ups first. See if I have anything. I should have a friend to voice chat with in a bit when he finishes dinner. Hopefully. God knows I go a little bit crazy if I don't have anyone to talk to while I'm sitting here talking to myself with no music at all. Hello, Manostone. I'm not sure. I don't know what I'm gonna draw because I need to draw something, right? I'm thinking I might draw outfits for a certain people in a world I'm making, just for fun. What are you going to draw, Man of Stone? That's the real question. I haven't gotten to have lunch today, so I'm just having some trail mix. I also need to do warm-ups. So I might do some figure drawing, and you're not going to be able to see the figures I'm drawing, because obviously they're fully naked, and if you could see them, I'd get banned from Twitch. But I usually do like 20 minutes of figure drawing. I think that would be a reasonable amount today. Should probably also just do some practicing of things. Having to actually sit down and draw for 4 hours should hopefully mean that I actually like draw something at some point. So that's good. Ooh, forgot that I don't know how to draw figures. Ooh, you didn't realize that you can't draw. I am really bad at figure drawing because it takes me a while to draw things. I don't draw things quickly by nature, as some people do. There are certain moods I can get in that make me better at drawing, though. Which is, good, obviously. But they're not my choice. I don't, think, oh, I should be good at drawing today, and then it just happens. I also have a hard time getting, focused enough to draw a lot of the time. This guy does have his penis showing, but I'm not gonna... No, he doesn't, actually. He doesn't have his penis. Okay, just gonna shove him over here. And now it's a lady. Or someone with a very feminine figure, at least. And there's a nipple here. Arm. Head. Smaller. She's got her hair coming down like this. And her arm goes down like here somehow. I don't know what's up with that. Oh, this is not going well. This is a hard pose somehow. It's literally just her laying on the ground, but I'm over here struggling quite a bit. And there's a boobage there. And that's the rib cage here. Yep. Just gonna make, if you would please. Okay. Hard time fitting these damn things on my canvas because I do not think. Alright, so that. I also don't usually mumble to myself while I'm doing this, but Since I'm streaming, you know, I figured I'd probably talk at some point. And I need to make my own entertainment since I can't listen to videos while I'm streaming. Actually, I have listened to videos while streaming art before, but only because, like, I got so bored that I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. And I never draw without listening to something because it drives me insane if I can't. Okay. And I have a hard time focusing when I don't have anything else to pay attention to, weirdly. It's not the same for writing, but for art, I need to have something else to pay part of my attention to, or I can't focus on the thing I'm actually doing. We got, oh, this is a mostly butt shot, so that's good. I hope Mana Stone didn't just leave instantly when I said I wasn't gonna be taking, when I said I wasn't taking, or I didn't say I wasn't taking requests. I probably would take requests. You just have to, you know, ask for them first. One time, like on one of the 2 art streams I've ever done, someone showed up and just asked me to teach them how to draw, and I was like, you'd have to pay me. They're like, I don't have money, but you have to teach me how to draw. And I was like, no, leave me alone, leave me be, help. And I've never had anyone be that rude while I was gaming on stream. I've had people kind of be rude, but usually people don't show up to those either, so. Or when they do show up, they're my friends. For art, you actually get people showing up, which is both a curse and a blessing. I like having people to talk to, but I also like when people are just here to see what I'm doing and not here to get something out of me. So obviously, if you're showing up to an art stream, you probably do want to, like, see your characters being drawn or whatever, but you can commission me for that. I accept money. In return, you get a drawing of your favorite character. It's the magic of stuff, baby. And I have been in a position where I've, like, really wanted art, but I couldn't pay for it before, but I just didn't get art in that case, or I learned how to draw. Not that I wasn't drawing prior, just, you know. If I wanted to see stuff drawn, I would simply draw it myself. I wasn't particularly good at art back then, though, so I didn't make a lot of interesting things. I mean, arguably, I'm not particularly good at art now, but I think I'm good, or good enough at least. I am an artiste, at the very least. Alright, she has her hands up like this, and a boob like that. Bring it back. When I'm done with all of these, I organize them into like a little sheet of... For some reason her foot is blurry, like she was just moving it when they were taking the picture. That's weird. Okay. God, I swear to God I get this pose like every single time I open this thing, and there's 1,000 pictures on it. It's literally just a guy laying down. It's all it is. It's not even an interesting angle. He's just laying down with his hand over his face. Like, come on. You have more interesting pictures than this on here. I also often get this one that's like a really low angle on a lady who's like clearly trying to be sexy. So like you see her boobs from below and stuff. And it's interesting because I get that one a lot too. And I'm not like particularly attracted to women, so I just look at it and I'm like, okay. Anything else? There aren't a lot of hot guys on the here either, which is unfortunate. I'm just gonna shove him in the corner. boobs pop out. This one model I really like her poses for. She doesn't look particularly old. I'd say she's probably like 40 to 50 something. And her poses are all really good. It's good that not all the models on this are just like perfect, beautiful young women. I think she is very pretty. She's not like a supermodel, you know. Okay. I told you long ago on the road, I have what they're waiting for. You don't run from nothing, dog. Take your soul, just yeah. It's never really rooting for me anyway. Okay, that sort of thing. Hello, Astetin. I am drawing. Oh, I know who you are. I'm doing figure drawing. Okay. This one's not great, but it's not the worst either. It's pretty good. I'm warding him off. I got this guy yesterday. And get the hand and oh, that's really unfortunate. Okay, okay. Wait, shoot. Okay. Oh, his leg's really long. Nice. Long-legged boy. Okay, I think that's all for now. I'm gonna embarrass myself if I keep doing this. Okay, now we're just gonna put those all on a sheet together, which is what I usually do when I'm done with these. If you would please, Photoshop. Got a lot of butt angles on this one. That's fine. Okay. Wait, there the other one is. Okay. Place you here. Well, we need the other one to not be interacting with it, so I'm just gonna shrink this one and move this one. I usually do like twice as many of these, so the canvas is usually much more full. There's a tall boy in the sun. I feel like I can move this guy here. Wait, it's the wrong place. Let's be a bit further down so we're not tangenting with that. And is this? Yep. Okay. Cool. Just merge all of these. I like to name my layers because I'm a little freak. If I don't label them, I just feel bad for some reason. Alright, here we go. What should I draw now? I think more hands. I was doing hands yesterday, and it's kind of fun. I don't know. Is this model Daniela? I just go to like normal, a thing called posespace.com, and I just look at normal poses and then draw the hands in them. That's an interesting hand. I need to be in a very specific mood for drawing hands, though. I need to, like, I do draw requests from time to time. There's that. And goes in. I forget what he looks like. I can draw that, though, I imagine. I need to look that up. Is it Cecil, like the normal name? That would kind of make sense. If he's too cartoony, I won't be able to draw him. Yeah, it is Cecil. Oh, it's this guy. Somehow there's only one picture of him on the internet, or on the browser I'm using. He's like a Squidward with a really long mustache and really wide shoulders and pecs. I think he might be too cartoony for me to draw him. I could draw him as like a monstrous beast, though, I imagine. If I wanted to. Wait. Oh. Okay. I wasn't clicking the right thing. Okay. A monstrous Sir Cecil, the Sea Sleep King. I imagine I could draw that. Okay. For some reason, it looks like his eyes are twitching in this one image. If I had to, like... I think you'd have to start with the eyes. It's like very heavy bags below his eyes. Small pupils. How would I adapt his nose, though? It's very cartoony. I think I'll just make it more like a human nose. Why does he have goggles? That's a really interesting choice. And you can just make this like... This looks kind of like Gwyn from Dark Souls 1. I don't know why. He just... Okay. And... He does have eyebrows, sort of. Kind of. I'll just layer him up with some of these. And a very wide head, of course, because he's got the Squidward type. Squidward head type, rather. I think I'm just gonna give him a real, like... real... toothy mouth. This looks very weird. You can tell I don't draw monsters a lot. He does have goggles, as I said earlier. I don't know what he uses them for, but he sure does have them. They're really digging into his flesh. Like, that looks painful. Okay. He's bald, of course. I think I need to bring this down a bit. He doesn't have any of that showing because he's got a beard. I think this is an excellent likeness. And, of course, need to give him very wide shoulders. Kind of tangents a bit too much with that side of his head. Look like I'm drawing a Mad King from Dark Souls. It's an entire archetypal character in those games. He's got claw hands, let's say. His face looks a little bit too cartoony. I don't know what I can do to fix that. Maybe make his eyes smaller? His eyes are pretty small in the original design. Okay, I'm just gonna shrink those down. That's a bit less cartoony. What sort of hand pose do we have here? I think like this. I can kind of break his fingers a bit since I am drawing a monster design, so I need to be very accurate to real life anatomy. For some reason, the shape of these fingers is really reminding me of the Berenstein Bears. And I think that that's telling. Okay. I think it's because when the people who drew that, I don't actually know who drew it, the fingers always end in points because they're bears, right? But they also use a lot of like curving lines on the fingers themselves because I think the paw pads would give a reason for that. They don't look a lot like bears, obviously, but we need to get those glorious pectorals in there real quick. And the lats go like this. Well, lats would last that long. They go like that, and let's say his tail's the pectorals, the muscles on your chest. He has very large those. He also has nipples. Oh, he has a bracelet on. I failed to draw his bracelet. Should it be like one of those really heavy, like, gold bracelets? I'm drawing a Dark Souls King after all. The male boobs, yeah. Hello, Jun GV. I know I've had you here before, but I don't remember when you were here. It's going good. I'm drawing Sir Cecil the Sea Sleep King at the request of my father. tail goes like this, and it is very, like, kind of that-y. I'll give it a lot of folds. I'm, I'm having a completely normal one, drawing a completely normal thing, which is this. I can't draw things cartoony, but I can draw them a little bit scary. This isn't like the scariest design of Sir Cecil the Sea Sleep King there probably is out there, but he's a little bit scary. How's it going for you? Hello, a red herring appeared. I know who you are. Welcome to the stream. Uh, this is Sir Cecil the Sea Sleep King, most famous for being on SpongeBob. A request was given for me to draw him, and I can't draw things cartoony, so I'm drawing him as a monster. So he is kind of a monster already. I don't remember what he did. I have to check the wiki really quick to remember what he did. I know he's in like one episode. The character designers had a great time with that one. Oh, he's in Spongiac. I do remember that one. I'm drawing a completely normal thing. Okay, so allow me to read you the results from when I looked up Sir Cecil the Sea Sleep King. The first one is the Encyclopedia SpongeBobia. I didn't know that existed. And the second is a YouTube channel. The third is a scene from the episode. The fourth is a fan fiction? No, he's a fan fiction author. And he's done stories for Doki Doki Literature Club, Mario, and Evangelion. So that's fun. And the fifth is Robert Cecil, first Earl of Salisbury, English statesman, Britannica. So that's fun. And I'm not looking this up on Google, so I'm not getting the normalist results you could get. But yeah, I'm drawing a SpongeBob character for the first time in my life, I think, unless I drew them when I was very young, which I could have, I guess. Wait, he has 3 bracelets. I'll just draw the other one peeking out like this. Maybe his bracelets are cursed. He also has like a thing around his waist. It looks kind of like a belt or like a wrestling belt. It kind of looks like that. Never looked at Sir Cecil this close. If you look too long into the Sir Cecil, it'll start looking back at you, as they say. I can't draw cartoony, so I'm drawing him monstrous. Okay. Maybe I'll use this to like have him be chained to something. Or indicate he used to be chained to something. You can just... I don't know. It seems illogical. But they are that tight in the original art. We're gonna say this one's broken. So he has recently escaped from something. Don't know what, but I think he should have been kept there, wherever it was. You're right is the thing. Everything else in SpongeBob makes perfect sense. I don't know why they, like, stopped thinking for this bit. I don't know what's up with that. Thank you for the praise, Junji. I do need to make him a bit more, like, gross, since I'm doing this Dark Souls style, kind of. He is kind of already pretty gross, just conceptually. Thank you for that nice job. This is made of gold, I think, so it kind of sticks out here, but he's at a really awkward angle for that. So I'm just gonna draw this in. And have this like folding over it a bit. I feel like I should put it into perspective a bit more. Should also have this be like actually something. Oh look, he finally said something. Okay, the guy who I was going to talk to apparently doesn't want to talk to me, so that's fun. Or he doesn't like interrupting while I'm streaming, which is dumb because I would rather be interrupted than have literally nothing to do all this time. Oh, I know what to do. Oh, I know what to do. Have it like disappearing into the distance to indicate that he is very long. The line art on the tail is very shaky. I think that's because the tail part is meant to be like ghostly. I've never looked at splits at Sir Cecil in my entire life. Never shall I again. Okay. My friend is gonna show up to the stream because I told him he had to, and he's gonna be like, what the hell is this? I'm confused and frightened. Okay, we need to draw somewhere where his torso would most likely be, and I think that's reasonable. Okay. I'm gonna draw him like a pillar of some kind. It's like holding on to it, looking very carefully at his next prey. This isn't based off of anything he does in the episode, by the way. I'm just like coming up with something that's kind of Dark Souls-y. This looks pretty good, though. Given the subject matter, this does look pretty good. Hmm. Make it kind of crumbling, maybe. I'm gonna say these aren't perfectly straight lines. He has been underwater for a very long time. He's very hungry. Hmm. Mm. My dog is snoring so loud. Are you having a good nap? Is your nap very nice? Yes. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, you snore so loud. This baby, this pretty girl. Okay. Okay, this needs to be a bit more lumpy because it's kind of lumpy in the original. But you know, I think this is a pretty good drawing. Gonna clean it up a little bit and then it should be fine. Anyone else have any fun suggestions? I would say hi, but she is presently asleep. I'll say hi to her when she's awake. Ornstein and Smo? No! I did draw Smo a while ago. Actually, that was a couple days ago, but I will draw them again. Why not? I just need to finish on this one. When will it end? Hornet? I'm gonna go with Hornet first because that takes significantly less time. Do you think I should do a Gajenka of Hornet or just a normal Hornet? Hornet. I make Silk Song now that Silk Song will never release. I'll do it. Hmm. I do actually have something to share regarding that. Wait. Oh, it's not this thing. Where's the thing? Where's the GIF? Here it is. I did make this little guy. One moment while I get him working. Timeline? Oh, you know you should be going faster than that. I did make this little guy, so I could make Silk Song, hypothetically. I am capable of making a little guy. Just saying. Okay, how fast can you make these things go? No delay. No delay. Thank you. This guy's called a Krelp. I did this for the Mask Bearer project, but they didn't want me. If anybody else wants me to make a game with them, I will do it. That is a warning. Look at this little guy. Just look at him. I know. I spent like 2 hours on this trying to get Photoshop to just work. Photoshop is a terrible program to animate in, unfortunately. I'm just gonna let him play for a bit. What's up, not artsy boy? Right now we have something I did for a Hollow Knight project playing. I guess. Have you made any literature, though? What fan fictions have you written? Link me to them, then I'll believe you. I'm a creative writer, too. Arkwright? Yeah, I was gonna have him on voice call with me, but he decided to chicken out. Ark, I do know Astetin in chat. I also know Herring, though not incredibly well. Okay, we're gonna make this guy stop. He had his time in the sun. No? Now we need to take a timeline. There we go. So this is what I've been drawing today, Ark. A completely normal thing to spend my time drawing, I assure you. This is Sir Cecil the Sea Sleep King from SpongeBob, as requested by Astetin in chat. Actually, he requested that I just draw this guy normally. He's a character from SpongeBob, so you may be able to figure out he doesn't actually look like this. But I can't draw things particularly well cartoony, so I just decided to make him a little bit scarier, perhaps. This is the Dark Souls boss version of Sir Cecil the Sea Sleep King. Okay. This is a completely normal thing to draw. I believe the next request was Hornet. Hornet's Hollow Knight? What should I draw Hornet Hollow Knight doing? Having tea with lace? Thank you, assets. I'm not gonna make this into a piece. It would be funny if I did. Actually, no, I mustn't. I simply mustn't. Shaw. Switch to draw her Shaw. Okay, we're gonna close him away for now. He mustn't be seen in the light of day. Yeah, the Turkish dude is here. Wait, I just answered you out loud. Assets is the other Turkish guy. Ark. I love Hornet's fucking turtleneck thing. Draw. No! Never. You can't make me. Actually, you can, but only if you pay me money. You have to sacrifice a part of yourself to make me sacrifice a part of myself. The part of me that has never drawn Sans Undertale. I don't know how to make Hornet dynamic. She's kind of just a little guy. She's got a longer neck than that, though. Kind of like this. She does look like she's wearing a turtleneck. Shaw. Okay, here's Hornet Hollow Knight. Not Hornet. Silk Song. Only Ari Gibson holds the power to draw. Assets, you're not gonna fucking believe this, but not moments ago. Literally instants ago, I showed something that I animated, so I'll show you too. I have animated before. I just need to set these all to... Can I? Yeah, I can do that. Okay. No delay. Not instants ago, I did draw this. Well, I didn't draw this instance ago. I drew this like a couple of months ago. Maybe back in November. It was a while. What do you think? Everybody else looked at this and said, "Aww." In my defense, it is pretty cute. Yeah, it's all 8 frames. He's going for a little walk. Yeah. He's just a little guy. It is a bug. Hollow Knight is a world comprised of bugs. Sure. Hornet. Oh, did you... Is there something... Is there new Hornet noises? This is an imaginary character for a prospective Hollow Knight related game, not made by the people who made Hollow Knight. I'm gonna open that. I'll do it. You can't stop me. I'm gonna turn off the noises on this. I'm gonna turn off the noises so you guys can't hear this when I can hear it. If they pick a bad voice for her, I'm gonna go insane. Oh, I thought it was from the Higale. I thought it was from the project those people are doing to make a voice acted Hollow Knight. I thought that's what that was. But no, it's just normal Hornet. Oh, she just did the get good. Yay. Get good! It really does sound like she's saying Gektu to me. Or Gektu. Okay, here's Hornet Hollow Knight. Once again. Back at it again with another Hollow Knight experience. Higale! I should set up channel points if anybody ever watches my videos. But instead of, I should do like just any voice from, like Scurry did the Grubs. I will do that also. Anita! Me, me, me. See, I can do it. I'm capable. I love it when people draw Hornet as like the tiniest little guy. Because she's like normal sized for a person in Hollow Knight. Well, apparently she's kind of short, but I don't... Most of the people in Hollow Knight aren't that big. Obviously, they're bugs. I'm gonna draw her like power stancing. Her head is so big in this image. She's large. Wait, I know how to fix it. The magic of Photoshop. Look, she's tall now. Need to shorten this one leg. Okay. Me, me, me. They didn't hire a voice actress for that. That was just a lady who was working in the office with them. But I do imagine it's going to be the same voice actress, because otherwise the entirety of the Hollow Knight fandom would go insane. She voiced like half of everything in Hollow Knight. Anything with a vaguely feminine sounding voice, and you know the Flukes are feminine, she voiced. She did voice Flukemarm, I believe. She didn't voice Salubra, though. William Pellin voiced Salubra, which is part of the reason why I think Salubra is a guy. Yeah, the voice acting in Hollow Knight's really excellent. I think it, like, manages to be good without being over the top. Like, I know. When I was playing Will of the Wisps, I kept noticing that, like, it's clear they took some inspiration from Hollow Knight with that game, right? there's probably a couple of things they would have done differently if they hadn't played Hollow Knight first, or whoever was coming up with all the concepts hadn't played Hollow Knight first. But with the like dialogue in particular, so when you start talking to an enemy, they'll do their sounds, but they keep doing them for like a really long time, which makes talking to them feel really weird. I don't know if it's worse than what's in Hollow Knight, but it does feel strange. So, yeah. Also, I still think Will of the Wisps is a worse game than Hollow Knight. It's a good game, but it has too many cutscenes. Simply too many cutscenes. Hornet's just been chilling on my screen for so long, doing absolutely nothing. Reloading. When there are cutscenes I can't skip in that game, like anything that interrupts my gameplay for more than a single second, I get mad. Like, because after you play it for the first time, and if you want to replay it, you gotta listen to all of everybody, like, explain shit to you over and over and over and over again. Like, I know, I've already played the game. I wish there was a mode you could pick which is just, don't explain anything to me. I've played before. Wait, wrong lines. Here's Hornet Hollow Knight for your viewing enjoyment. You got it. Yeah, I hate it when I have to listen through cutscenes. Also, fun fact about Will of the Wisp and Blind Forest, there is a skip cutscene option, and it's for any cutscene which takes you away from Ori. Here's the thing though, it doesn't work sometimes. There are certain cutscenes you can't skip no matter what, and there's literally nothing different about them than the other ones. They last for about the same amount of time, and they take you away from Ori, and you can't skip them for no reason. But there's also just tiny cutscenes everywhere, like in the final area, you can trigger something which will change elsewhere in the world, and it'll stop you in your tracks, and nothing will happen for like a full 3 seconds. And then the cutscene will start where it shows you the thing happening, and then you can start playing again. And it doesn't take that long, but it makes me feel like I'm losing my mind when I play the game because I have to like just sit here and watch it every single time. Which I think is part of the reason why I love Hollow Knight so much. It's very rare in Hollow Knight that you get like a mandatory cutscene. Hell, you can even skip that one with Hornet in the middle of the game if you do things right. And that one's like literally the only cutscene in the entire game, other than like the Radiance showing up. It does interrupt the flow of the game, and it's just like really annoying. Like, I've played the game before. You don't need to explain. You don't need to show me this. I've seen it all before. I don't need to spend another 20 minutes of my life just watching cutscenes go by. Fun fact about Will of the Wisps also is that there's a point in the game, and it's really funny to me, where a cutscene starts, and then you can skip through that cutscene, you do a short walking section, another cutscene starts. And when you skip through that cutscene, it plops you immediately, and I do mean immediately, into another cutscene you can also skip. So it's 3 cutscenes in a row that you can skip. So, what the fuck? Oh yeah. And there's this weird, uh, right? I don't even know. Yeah, those are like super short, and it's giving you an ability. So that's good, right? But In Ori, it'll just stop you for literally any reason for a couple of minutes. And I know this is a controversial opinion, but I don't find the. Yeah. And that's just like a loading screen, basically. That cutscene with the stag. I don't find the story in the Ori games to be particularly compelling, which is a bit strange, I realize, since a lot of people go like, oh, the game is kind of fine, it's just kind of okay, but the story is where it's really at. I don't find that true. I don't find the story particularly interesting in those games because it's so heavy-handed. I thought it was a loading screen too, assets. It does function like one, even if it technically isn't. Anyway. Doesn't Hornet have like a cute little animation she does? It's like this. Oh, she's so swart. This is a great drawing. Hmm. I think that that's fine, for instance, because it's a loading screen. I think I think this is one of the better things I've ever drawn, actually. Wait, no, I'm gonna give her spider legs. I'm gonna have this be one of the spider ones. Hornet is actually grim. She actually has spider legs, so she's grim. Yeah, your PC is dying at any given time, so I don't know if it can be trusted. Smolnet, if you will. She's scampering. She's just a little guy. I love Hornet's character design. Actually, I love all the character designs in Hollow Knight, but Hornet especially. Beautiful. Thank you. I aim to make things which make you go like that. This is a Hornet cosplaying as her mother. What does her mother look like? Like this. She's got the same head shape. I know that. Got 6 eyes. And her face is draped in cloth, I believe. Huge ass bod. She's so big compared to Hornet, like, holy shit. Imagine if she, like, saw her daughter and was like, wait, I really birthed something that small? What? Is that real? She's got, like, thorax, actual bug would. This I'm pretty sure she does. And a bunch of legs, obviously. She's floating in midair. Might as well have a bunch of legs if we're gonna be doing that. Literally just 5ing. We're gonna pretend I didn't draw that real quick. That is true. Well, only one form of him is. Do you think his genetics were altered when he got reborn? I guess that would kind of make sense. Like, is there the potential of any of the vessels to become a worm because their dad's a worm? I'm just saying. Now let's do the iconic hornet. Wait, Start with this line or I can't do it for some reason. Get him, Hornet, get him. Drone it. Well, obviously NKG and Grim are connected. NKG is Grim's boss. I think the fact that Hornet and Grim are similar in those ways is just coincidence, though. Then again, we don't know. We haven't gotten Silksong yet. Who knows? Maybe Silksong is like... Maybe Silksong will confirm canonically that Grim is like Hornet's brother or something. That is true. Are the bees? Bees are canonically descendants. I mean, Hera... That, yep, she sure is. If you find that bug sexy, then Hera's a MILF. If you don't find that bug sexy, there's something wrong with you. Okay. Fun fact, in one of Mossbag's videos, there's a part of it where he says, I have a couple questions for Team Cherry, and then like a bunch of them scroll past the screen really quickly, and one of them is, why is Zote so sexy? You are right. You are right. Just so you guys know, my dad was here earlier. Like, in the stream chat. He might still be here, and you're saying this in his viewing. You actually have that leg resting on the other one. Oh, yep, he's still here. Okay, good for you. Hope you're all very proud of yourselves. I mean, I wasn't expecting anything less. If anything, it's a bit of a, like, problem for my... It's more of a problem for my dad than anyone else, but, you know. Okay, here's Hornet sitting on a bench. He's never played Hollow Knight, by the way. I just gave him, like, a quick summary of it. I also gave him a quick summary of Dark Souls in the same day. Needless to say, both Dark Souls and Hollow Knight are almost completely inscrutable without playing them. I'm like, okay, so it's a kingdom. And so, wait, I need to go before the king. So there were these people, and I need to go a bit before that, actually, too. Okay, sure. I don't know what guns look like. It's got a sight, and just kind of have her finger through it. Acids, your suggestions are completely insane today. Here's my best render of Hornet pointing a gun at us. This is what it's like to live in the US every day. The bugs be coming for us. I had so many bugs coming for me while I was walking today. It was crazy. I need to look up that one picture of cannon pointing gun. Here, there it is. There it is. Everyone's favorite image. Okay, I need to. I'll superimpose this onto Hornet real quick. Okay, so Hornet has like sharper fingers though, so it'll look a bit different. God, guns are so complicated. Okay, like there's so many bits of stuff in guns. Like, who designed these things? These things would be terrible in anime. Okay. I've gotten nothing in chat since the make Hornet pointing a gun at us message. It's staring at me ominously. Hornet, I'm taking away your gun privileges. Giving you a new gun. more comically large the gun is relative to her, the better the meme is. This is actually pretty good. Okay, I think this is good. I think this is art. If this ain't art, I don't know what is art, frankly. I should make this my profile picture somewhere. If anybody wants this for a profile picture, I will color it for you. Any more hornets I should draw? I'm just having some trail mix. This is a completely normal image. What's another good sprite? I know a lot of people have been like posting their favorite sprites from the thing. I'm gonna look at the trailer. Silksong News. Okay, I'm subscribed to Daily Silksong News, of course. Okay. Okay, don't make noise at me. There you go. $1,214 since reveal. This guy has a guest on like every day. Hey, golly. Wait. Oh, I can do that pose, yeah. I'm gonna turn on the sound so you can all listen to this with me.
Just a game showcase, Silksong was revealed to be a day one Xbox Game Pass game, meaning that when Silksong will come out, it will be immediately available to anyone who has an Xbox Game Pass. It was also confirmed to be released.
Oh, Hornets. Oh, that's a good sprite. It's good. Man, I'm drawing her dress all wrong. Fuck. Okay. I'm gonna do a quick sketch of her to make sure I know how to draw this Goyle. She is the gender child. Her eyes are so tiny. Okay. And then she's got very like triangular dress. Goes out like that. Her legs are much longer than I thought they were. She's much less squat. Still pretty short though. We're just gonna shove it a bit, actually. And her needle is going like this. For some reason, I don't know why she's holding it so low. Okay, where's the dreamer? Which shot is that? Oh, that's a good frame. Wait, no, there it is. Oh, beautiful. Okay, we're just gonna sketch that really quick. Wait, don't do this to me, Microsoft Edge. Real fan of this one. Okay, so she's got kind of like this sort of thing going on. Her head's just kind of like that. Her eyes are so far apart. This is beautiful. Ari Gibson is nothing if not an artist. And her dress is flared out like it always is. This doesn't quite capture just how like powerful the sheer lack of expression on her face is in this. You know, make it nice, a bit bigger. No thoughts, head empty. No, Hornet, you mustn't. Hornet, don't throw your life away. Fucking, I love this pose. This is beautiful. For some reason, her nail is just like this. I don't know why, but it is just like here. Okay, everyone pick your favorite frame of the Hornet, the most recent trailer, and send it to me and I'll draw it. I'm gonna draw her legs in. Alright, have a good one. That's pretty shit. Okay. I'm just gonna say she doesn't have colored in legs on that one. I think this is a sufficient number of hornets. Anyone got more suggestions? Another hornet to draw? Yeah. I just love the upside down frame of hornets so much. It's so good. It's really art. Oh, what is this frame? This is deeply disturbing. I do not know what's going on here. Hmm. Interesting. Oh, wait. Part of that is just a piece of rubble. Okay. I don't need to be incredibly concerned. Here's her turning into a drill. And drilling it. And descending darkening his ass. There's that beautiful upside down frame again. Gotta love it. Okay. There's Slash Hornet. God, the animation for this is so impressive. You know it's impressive when I pan through it frame by frame. Yeah. I don't need it to be 5 seconds. I need to be a frame. Hmm. Alright. We're just Hornet jumping. She's just a little guy. I like her running animation. Oh, this is a good frame. She doesn't have any bones in this one. Oh, that's a good frame. You can tell the distortion effect is there. Is this guy in a chain? Is he in a chain? No, it's a background chain. I thought it was connected to that guy. It doesn't appear to be. Yeah, it's not. Wow, these geniuses don't know that putting on bells on your head means you can't ring them. Okay, we're gonna do a couple more hands since no one has any recce's. Yogi, shove you in the corner. When I met you in the summer. Okay. Okay, she's got like a Sharpie in her hand or something. Having to talk to yourself with no one in chat doing this is excruciating. Gardic IO, we can do that anytime. As long as we have enough people in the stream, I think. Okay, she's got her thumb out like that. She's got like special nails on, I think, so I'm just gonna draw the nails like that. Isn't it fun that there's literally a character in Dark Souls 2 named Milfinito? Mm. I don't mind drawing hands, I just usually need a reference for it. Hands are very complicated. I didn't need hands for this though. I didn't need reference for this, I mean. The hands look pretty good. Hell, this drawing looks pretty good given the, thing that it actually is. They definitely take more practice than other body parts because they're very specific and you see hands a lot, right? So it's like when you draw a human face wrong, you can usually stylize a human face enough that, like, even if there's something wrong with it, it's stylized. You can still recognize it as a face, and the goal isn't realism with stylization, right? But with hands, you stylize them less because they're less, like, characterizing. They can characterize a character a fair deal, obviously, but they're less characterizing. So you need them to actually look like hands, whereas with a human face, you don't actually need it to look like a human face. It just needs to have eyes and a mouth, basically. That's all you need. You can get rid of a nose and you can still look at it and be like, that's a human face. But I hate it when artists get rid of the human nose. That's why I don't like anime that much. I don't think it looks very good. There are animes, obviously, that where they keep the human nose, like JoJo. I think JoJo's art is very pleasing. But for the most part, it's a lot of stuff that I don't think looks very good. I find anime styles to be just a bit unpleasant. Except for JoJo, as I said. Feet you can also kind of cheese a bit, because you don't need them to look very feet-like exactly. Hands are very articulated as well, got a lot of bones in there. Trying to portray that many bones is difficult. This one is looking a bit like a spider. This might still be too long. Look too long at the very least. No. I think I can. That makes them look a bit better. There we go. This hands from the side always look weird though, no matter what you do. So that's unfortunate. Okay, all of these were from the same lady model, so we're gonna do a dude model now. There's only one male dark-skinned model on this website somehow. Wait, there might be two? Yeah, there's two, but the other one does not actually have very dark skin. His skin is very middling in darkness. I think he is black, but he's not very dark skinned. The other guy is reasonably dark skinned. This is an interesting hand. Actually, this guy doesn't... I don't know if I can pinpoint what race he is from just looking at him. I don't think it matters though. Okay. It's got very manly hands, which is what I'm looking for. I don't have very manly hands, so I ask friends for pictures of their hands a lot when I'm drawing. And they refuse to provide, because they hate me. My best friend, who I had for a long time, had very, like, short hands. He was very short, so it kind of makes sense, right? But he had very short hands. Like, hands that looked like they belonged to a short person somehow. I don't know how he managed that. But I'd ask for pictures of his hands, and I'd have to, like, lengthen them to make them look like normal hands when I was drawing. Let's talk about your life. Hear about now. Don't think about last night. Don't you want to do what you came here to do? Never makes your world go round. Oh. This looks kind of like an octopus. Okay. Once we finish this page, we're gonna do some actual drawing. Oh my god, this guy is so wide. The width of this man is insane. Very muscular, that guy. You guys can't see what I'm talking about, but he is naked in it, so I doubt you'd want to either. That would make sense. I have pretty normal hands. They're just not very, like, knuckly, like dude hands tend to be. They're very, like, smooth. Not very hairy, though. I don't know, they might get hairier as I age. 'Cause old dudes always have, like, the hairiest body parts for some reason. Except for their heads. Their heads go bald. Everywhere else gets more hair. Okay. Free. You might see oh. He has a ball in his hand in this one. I am 18. Okay. Doug just snored so loudly back there. Aria, are you experiencing a moment? I do? Oh, you're too kind. I've been told I sound like a little boy. I don't know why that would be, but I am fairly young as they go, obviously. A wee child. I think I sound to most people like I just got into puberty, which is kind of funny. Like just recently, which is not the case. Oh, these pictures are from 2007, huh? I was very young when these pictures were taken. Okay. Guy's got very interesting thumbs. Always getting into something. Okay. Your left hand free, your right away. Oh, He has very veiny arms. Wow. Okay, that's about what that hand looks like. Shove this in a bit more though. Okay. Actually, I should draw the other hand. Move it back here. I really like the look of manly hands, but I unfortunately don't have any. Nor do I have a man. Tragic. I neither have a man nor manly hands. In truth, what do I have? What happens to this guy's thumb? It appears to just disappear. That's weird. Okay. Okay, that's how the hands look together. This one needs to be a bit bigger, actually. Okay, that works. Was a good one. Okay. Well, this is definitely not correct. I think it might be correct if I do this. That's correct. That works. It works. Okay. Probably add some fingernails onto this one, so that's weird. Arya, why are you snoring so loudly? Arya has her head laying on my pillow. And Grizzly is also laying on my bed, but like closer to me, and he looks very sad. Grizzly, what are you sad about? You have your beautiful, beautiful girlfriend here. She's taking a very nice nap, Grizzly. What do you have to be sad about? Whenever Arya comes over, Grizzly just wants to like rough her up for approximately 1,000 hours, and she never wants to be roughed up. She literally just wants to nap. Occasionally, she'll engage in some friendly sparring, though. She is like twice Grizzly's size, so there's not much he can do about her. But he does like to. But occasionally, she'll be like, okay, fine. One of her tactics of fighting is to just like put her hand, like her paw, on Grizzly's face and just like push his face down, and I think that that's hilarious. I'm gonna put these back far enough. There we go. This guy's arm is so lumpy. Muscular guys get like that. Real lumpy arms. Okay, what next pose do we have? Need horizontal hands that are interesting. It's an interesting hand pose. It's not horizontal, but it is interesting. Okay, so it goes something like that. It's one of those in perspective hand poses. And like that. Dog days are over. Dog days are done. By the way, acids, my friend Arkwright, he was in the chat earlier, knows about you, but the only reason he knows about you is because I told him, like, I am meeting so many Turkish people, just an insane number of Turkish people. And then I mentioned you, and he was like, oh, that's the guy, huh? It's kind of difficult pose to capture. It's very complicated. I think the fingers are fine though. Just needs to go a bit back further. A couple more lumps and some area. You know, that does look kind of like a hand. Okay, we're gonna say that that's good. Today's accomplishments so far. That's it. Okay. Let's do something for me. Now. Alright, have a good one. Bye-bye. Anyone else here? I'm gonna check. How many people are there in this holy chat? There's one person. Damn. I do have 33 followers now, though, according to the thing. And I have gotten a fair deal of views today so far. Yeah, come on. I'm looking at requirements for a job I might work at. And talk to my mother about it. God knows she would know more about this than me. Okay. Now what should I draw here? I think I'm gonna look up Polynesian clothing. Oh, they got the style. This is a Maori villager. Tane Tahitian. I seriously doubt that that's... Hmm. This woman's headdress is insane. Oh, those are a bunch of strong boys. Beauty in God's creations. Okay. Polynesian clothing on Etsy. Redbubble. This is Auckland, New Zealand, so that might be more credible. Polynesian native clothing. This has no pictures. This is not useful. This is interesting, but not useful. Journal of the Polynesian Society. I'm gonna go to hawaiihistory.org. How? Clothing. This also does not have any pictures. Okay. I do actually need Nakoa brand. Who are these people? Okay. Just gonna... I see bright color is a common thing. Skirts, dudes being shirtless. Seriously doubt that has anything to do with Polynesian people. It's very complicated, the clothing that I'm seeing. Very cool, though. I'm gonna see what I can do. Also gonna bring up a pose from the one person who I draw Shay from. I forget what her name is. Male, and she has a medium skin tone. No, Jen, not you. Jen has loads of pictures here. Not Kathy. Oh, it's Luana. Here's my girl. Okay. We always use her to draw Shay from reference, since she looks a good deal like how I imagine Shay would look. She has like a appropriately feminine body. Shay is a very pretty man. He's not very masculine. This is a pose and a half, dude. Wow. I do not need you posing that hard, Luana. I just need you to, like, stand. Possibly. Oh, that's just all the ones you have? Damn it. Okay, I'm just gonna have to take what I can find, I guess. This is a pretty good one. We'll go with this one. Luana looks like she's probably short, too, so it's good for that reason as well. Because Shay is very small. Dog days are over, the dog days. Whenever I have to draw a guy's junk really quickly, I just do like a quick circle, and I'm like, yep, this is it. Here's the junk. Okay. I usually like to take my time drawing things, but the point of this isn't the pose, it's what clothing he's going to be wearing, which is very rare for Shay. I figure he would wear clothing sometimes, you know. Dog days are long. Can you hear the horses? 'Cause here they. I've actually drawn Luana in this pose before, or rather, I've drawn Shay, referencing this pose by Luana. And it was for a different purpose. How balanced is this? Very balanced. Just gonna tilt it like that. A bit more balanced. It feels a bit too weird. More of the curve upward side, so I think that works. I usually draw poses very differently than this. I'm usually zooming in a lot and stuff, but you know, sometimes you gotta draw a pose out of focus. Sometimes you gotta. This isn't out of focus, this is just less focused on. Aria, you snore so much like a pig. Never have I met a dog who sounded as much like a pig as you, Miss Aria. She sounds really congested, but I know she's not. Grizzly, is your life rough when you have Miss Aria over? Is life hard when you have your beautiful, beautiful lady friend over? Okay, maybe just get his head in there. This. This is pretty rough. Okay, I need to move his nipples a bit. It's a bit awkward how they are right now. So just go on being godless animals. Okay, so that one would be a bit pulled up, obviously, and he's not terribly wide-chested, so I think the positions presently work. The issue is that this area needs to be bigger. So, where's the kitty baby? Is he screaming? Okay, is that good? This arm needs to be a bit smaller. And there we go. So just go on being godless and okay, now I need to actually draw Shay's face. So we're gonna get in there real quick. It is wild how Arya can do literally nothing all day and fall asleep for hours easily. This is a pretty good Shay. His eyes are a bit too far apart. That's good. Okay. Somehow every time I draw Shay, he looks different. I have the opposite issue of most artists, which is that I can never draw a character looking the same way twice. Like, ideally, I would just draw Shay as he's seen in my profile picture every time. But, unfortunately, for some reason I can't. Aria! Aria! Where are you barking at? Seriously, give Aria a kiss. She doesn't know what's up. Aria, there's literally no one to bark at, pretty lady. Usually, are you giving Aria a couple of boops to reassure her? It's very kind. I love drawing Shay, he's so pretty. I have chat open right now. I should probably have chat open. I don't have it pulled up, rather. It is open, I just can't see it. Yeah, it's still the last thing was Acid saying bye. Virgin's magic dress. Only idea is a prison of belief. Oh, comedy. It's like something a madman would conceive. Pull up those damn pictures of the things. There's one reference I use for hair that I think is really good, but I don't know where it is. It's one artist's work. Where the hell did it go? Okay, it doesn't appear to be here. Might it be here? No, it does not. Oh, here it is. Found it. I just really like how the fluid shapes are in this. This artist is really good at curves, which I am not. I'm not good at drawing curves. I'm just gonna step shape back right here. Pretty good curve, but his head needs something bigger than that. Not quite that big though. So that's about correct. He never has his hair done fancy. It's always just pushed back behind his ear. At least as I draw him, it is. Boy, my darling love, my only. Okay, we're just gonna grab both of these and flip. Still looks pretty good. His head might be a bit too curved though. Wait, whoops. That's a bit better. Okay. Be my little baby. Baby, my darling. Oh, 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 oh. Take me home tonight. I don't wanna let you go till you see the light. Take me home tonight. Tangents a bit too much. There we go. go. That's a pretty fitting head size, I think. Let you go to see the light. Take you home tonight. Okay, that's definitely not perfect, but we're just gonna keep going. I have apparently decided to thicken him up a bit, which is appropriate for him. Okay. Still just gonna have a circle for his dick. It's popping a bit too much. I'm gonna squeeze it in. shove that nipple over a little bit. Just to give it a bit more breathing room. Okay. This isn't even the point of this drawing. Like, this is a drawing for something entirely unrelated to Shay. Like I said, it's like clothes he wears, so it is related to him, but not in a direct sort of way. Okay, so the artist here uses a lot of unexaggerated curves. Aria just heard my mom coming into the house and lost her shit. She has very nice hair. He does not do much to maintain it, but he just naturally has very nice hair. Hello. Gotcha. Cheesecakes. Yeah, I'm having cheesecake for dessert. Very exciting. Aria, are you back, pretty girl? Did you leave for a bit? Go tell mommy out? Yeah, did you go tell her? Aria went and told her. Oh, Shay. Light of my life. Apple of my eye. I think his arms might be too big. His head's the right size, but not his arms. Actually, that line should probably be included. You know that one song by that one, like, normal guy dude or whatever? And it's like, or he's in a club and he is like dancing or whatever, and there's this one girl that's super into him, and he's like, "Oh no, I can't take you home because my girlfriend's at home, but I might if I stay here longer." Uh, at one time when I was at Valley Fair, which is a fair near where I live, that song, that song's music video and the song itself was playing on repeat at while we were in line for a ride that was taking just about an hour and a half. So we watched that song play probably like 3 dozen times, and it was a little bit maddening. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. His arms would be very long though. I think they're a bit too thick, his arms. So I'm just gonna thin them a bit. Right. Photoshop, I guarantee you can work if you just do what I ask you to. Okay, Photoshop is dying early today. Usually it takes longer than this. There always gets a point in the day when I'm using Photoshop where Photoshop is just like on its deathbed for some reason. Like everything I do does happen super slowly for no reason. It'll lag for long times between stuff I do. I have a really good computer, by the way. Photoshop is just shite. Looks like his head is just floating in there. I think his face is a bit too big. Yeah. No, I'm gonna say no. For now, it works. Oh, that's a bit too steep of a curve, isn't it? Oh no, honey, I'm good. I could have another, but I probably should not. That song. Played dozens of times and broke my brain. My wee child brain. Say I might not leave alone. That song. I don't even know most of the words to it, but I have listened to it probably hundreds of times. Every time I speak about that, I inflate the number of times it actually happened. It was about an hour and a half in that line. I'm certain that song was playing on repeat the whole time. It's really annoying that they play music videos on repeat when you're in those lines. I really wish that they would just play like nature documentaries or something. It'd be a lot like more. You could deal with that a lot more easily, I feel. Or I could. I really hate it when I feel like something is advertising to me. Like, I hate listening to advertisements because they're so over the top and, like, I don't know, something about it just really bothers me. So, did not enjoy that kind of thing. These little bean toes. Okay. Got toe, 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 toe. Big toe. This foot's not wide enough to increase the width of this foot. Okay. Toes are fun because why do we have so many? Because we have so many of them? Like, it was simply unnecessary number of toes. And they're all like shaped differently. It's the part that makes them difficult to draw. Each toe has its own personality. Shape-wise. Okay. I'm just gonna go through and make sure that the line art's all connected. It's definitely not connected in the hands right now. Okay, cool. Make somebody's know. Oh, I'll show you, I'll show you. Make somebody know. I think this looks pretty good. Looks fine, at the very least. It doesn't need to look great. It's not about Shay. It's about the thing I'm drawing that isn't Shay. God, I've just been like talking to myself for hours now. 2.5 hours, as a matter of fact. Hello.
Oh, well then, never mind.
I'm not drawing Shay naked. I'm just putting him in clothes. Yeah, I know it's surprising. I just haven't put him in the clothes yet. I'm not drawing Shay naked is the thing. He's presently he is naked, but he's not going to be once I'm done.
You know what?
I'm gonna put him in clothes. He's just
this
not.
isn't your drawing?
What? No.
Oh.
That's the reference for how I draw his hair.
I did think that there was a lot of women in that drawing for you.
Yeah, I'm not
Don't
that.
let your sister see that.
I'm not that smooth.
We'll never get her to shut up.
Yeah.
Hi, Aria. Yes.
Have you seen?
You and Grizzly have a little bit of a love affair going on. Are you going to pick poops all over my yard again?
I did let her out before.
When did it start to show up?
Well, I brought her here. It was about at noon. They're both just sitting on my bed looking at the door. Okay. Okay, we appear to have made a good line art. What the fuck just happened? I think I accidentally just closed all my tabs. They're not closed, they just got, like, yeeted. Yoted. Yotenighted. Okay, now we just need to pop some clothes on this bad boy. Oops. I hate that. I hate it when that happens. Okay, they appear to be. I like skirts made out of straw looking stuff, but I don't know if I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna put him in a skirt anyway, though. I'm not gonna give him a shirt because I don't have to. I like wide waistbands on these. The waistbands are pretty complicated. Look at a waistband. Yeah, those. They got like layers to them. I don't know what that texture is, but it sure is a texture. Okay. I'm just going to say something like that for the waistband. Okay, so we open around this, but closing around this, and fold here, so it would go like that a bit. It's obviously uneven in lengths, but I think I like how that looks. I'm not gonna do the, like, very common thing they have, which is skirts made of straw looking stuff. I think that would be a bit too complicated in design for me. Those feet are too big, aren't they? Yep, they certainly are. Okay, we're just gonna shrink them foots down a bit. Grizzly's gonna come back upstairs. I know it's very stressful, Grizzly. You're gonna be alright, though. I believe in you. Yeah, that looks like a bit better. Oh, is Arya giving him kisses? He's giving Arya kisses. How sweet. How lovely. Definitely fans of necklaces and headdresses, but I have his hair down, so I don't think that would be appropriate. I'll give him maybe like bracers. That's not a Polynesian thing, but or not as far as I know. I think they just look new. That one looks pretty good. Let's do another. Let's do a bit shorter of a skirt for this one. A bit heavier material, maybe. Different patterning on the lower parts for some of these, so I'm gonna give it a different sort of thing going on. Let's give him a shirt. See how it looks. Don't do sleeves on any of the stuff they do, which would make sense, I guess. It is very warm where they live, after all. Polynesian people, I mean. only ever, in the pictures I'm seeing at least, the women are the only ones who are ever wearing shirts. The guys are all shirtless. But Shay's kind of gender non-conforming, so I don't think he'd care. What does this one look like? I think that's pretty good. Photoshop if you would please. This one feels a little plain now. We could just do color concepts for all of them. Let's color Cheyenne first, though. It's gonna go Shay color. Filter. Wait, no, select, modify, expand to inverse. There we go. And we're just gonna open another file with Shay in it. Do we have any files with Shay where he's wearing clothes? This one has him not fully around. That counts. Okay, this is a skin color. Don't mind what that actually said. Means nothing. Okay. He doesn't need a lot, just like hair color, I think. And nipple color. He's got black hair. Oh shit. Okay. Inverse and now fill. Wrong color. Aria, I swear to God, girlfriend. Best not be barking too much or I'll lose my shit. Aria! You aren't even barking at anyone, Miss Aria. You aren't even barking at anyone. What is it? Is someone out there getting out of a car? Oh, the very idea. The very idea of someone getting out of a car. Oh, puppies. Okay, can we all be gentlemen now? Yes. Very good. Okay, Arya promised to be a gentleman, so we should be good now. If we're lucky. I don't need to be doing any of this shit. Wait. Photoshop, please. Okay, I'm just gonna take that color and that. I'm gonna take. I think this is the color for his nipples. Yeah, that should be it. Use the same color for his nipples as his upper lip. Layer. Wait, did I draw his nipples on this layer? Okay. Just gonna drag this up here real quick. Okay. Give me a grizzly and free my soul. I wanna get lost in rock and roll and drift away. Oh, drift away. Okay, I just need to get Shay's color thing. Shay, give me your fingernail color. It's not that different from this normal skin color, which I should probably change. Make it a bit lighter. You can see both of his hands and his thumbs. Wait. Now wait just a second here. Click the wrong button. Here we go. It's also the wrong button. Okay, now we're just gonna erase out of this all the stuff we don't need. Just go to black. Please just go to black. Please. There we go. Okay. Photoshop is really chugging. My favorite part of the day when using Photoshop, the part where it just stops fucking working. Okay, let's color this one real quick. Oof. Excuse me. Okie dokie, we're just gonna do that. Right, there we go. Okay, what color do we want for this? I'm thinking blue, perhaps. That might be a bit too strong. I can just work that out later, though. bit too dark. Okay, that looks a bit better. Da, 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 da. Okay. One looks pretty cool for now. Pretty basic, but I think that skirt could get a bit more attention. Right. Shay, this is Biflag Shay. I think he deserves it. It's appropriate for him. Even though he's not actually bi. I mean, he could be. He could be bi. His original creator is gay, but, you know, Shay can be bi if he wants to be. He's looking pretty good. I might come back to it later, though. I like how this works a lot. Please just let me draw in black Photoshop, please. Okay, there we go. Kind of hard for me to keep talking when there's no one in chat. I haven't checked chat for a while, so there could be someone in chat. But there's not. There could be, but there is not. I'm gonna post this drawing on Twitter later once I finish it, if you want to see it there. I forgot about the collar of the shirt. I think that works. Here we go. Wait, now what the fuck? Okay, gotta draw another line here. Hello, grizzly bear. Some very are. Arya loves to go in my bed and just completely remake it to her specifications. How did you get that much fur on me when I was petting you for 1 minute? Miss Arya, your life is so hard, so difficult, so difficile. Okay, I'm gonna go with a pink color for this one. A bit darker than that. Yeah, that works. Oh wait, shit, I forgot this part. Gives him the illusion of having a wider chest than he actually has. The illusion of choice. Wait, it's too many far back. Stop, stop, stop. Okay. Maybe this is the outfit he paints in, so it's got lots of like splotches on it and stuff. He's a painter, by the way. No, I did not make this character. The fact that he's a painter is not my fault. Pick Dan's skin color, because he probably paints Dan a fair bit. This is cute. He looks good. Okay. Get the belt a bit lighter. Not that light. That light's good. When you love someone and bite your tongue, all you get is a mouthful of blood. It just needs to be a bit more saturated. It's not low. It's better. Whoops. This is Shay at the bisexuality festival. Honestly, where he lives would have a bisexuality festival. And this is him post 5 hours of painting. Okay. Only 30 minutes left in the stream. I don't have to be alive for much longer. Okay, we're gonna draw one more outfit for Shay. Rather, I'm going to draw, because you fuckers don't add anything. Okay. I'm gonna make a bit of a longer skirt this time. Not gonna be like a pencil skirt though, obviously. That'd be ridiculous. We're gonna have it go out a bit more here. I feel like it should be hanging a bit more sharply off his hip here. Maybe going out a bit there. Photoshop is really chugging. That time of day, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. This should be a bit more. That's good. Needs more going on though. I like how that looks. Alternatively, I could just turn it into a crop top by going like this. You kind of like how this looks. Hmm. This looks pretty fine. Okay, this looks pretty good, I think. I'm gonna have to make this sleeve a bit shorter. I didn't know. Okay. Bruce went to sit outside because he's very upset. Oh, whoops. Forgot to turn this around before I merged them. There we go. Photoshop's dying. I'm falling asleep. Oh, this might be the end, everybody. Okay. What color should we go with for this? Maybe green? Not yellowish. There we go. That could look good. Okay, we're gonna say good. And we're just gonna add in the shadows, and the stream is gonna be done. Mm, Just gonna perish if I keep using it much longer, so. I need you, put yourself in my suitcase. I love you, back home to the west coast. La, 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 okay, this is 3 color rules. This Shay is gonna be on, right? Oh, Photoshop, Photoshop. You can do it. Just nudge him over there. You can do it. And his bisexual outfit, his painting outfit, and his dress, I guess. 3 modes of Shay. Other than being naked, that is. He's also pretty good at being naked. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna save this as today's drawing. Okay, this is all that we drew today. Started with figure drawing, went on to some hands, then I did this sketch of Sir Cecil the Sea Sleep King, and then some sketches of Hornet, including one of her holding a gun, and did this beautiful fan art of her upside down form. Then we spent the rest of the time making some shays. I hope you enjoyed the stream today. It was much quieter than usual because there wasn't anybody in the chat for most of the time, and I have a hard time talking while drawing. But thank you very much for coming. I hope you have a good day. Goodbye.